So Jackson, if you don't know, Jackson's my oldest son. He's 9 years old. He's in 3rd grade, and I'm gonna let him. Can you stay up?
Bend it back the opposite way, Brian. Stand up.
That's gonna feel. So I'm gonna go ahead and let him get started. So she's getting a little coaching.
I wonder if she could do that
Good
for
job,
us.
Mom. Have a good one.
No, I can't get that to stay up. But anyways, go ahead, Jack. Without further ado,
Thank you for letting me do this.
you have to speak up a little bit. Okay, big room.
Raise your hand if you have ever eaten fish sticks, sushi, tuna, or salmon. Hands down. Now raise your hand if you have ever eaten diapers, cigarette butts, plastic water bottles, or shopping bags.
I hope not. I think you're going to tell me I have.
Vegas.
Everybody was so confused that raised your hand for the first question, didn't raise your hand for the second question, and you should have. The unfortunate truth is that our oceans are full of garbage. This garbage collects in one of 5 areas called gyres. When the trash is in the gyres, it breaks down into smaller pieces, which then small fish eat the pieces of trash because they mistake it for food. Then bigger fish like tuna or salmon eat the smaller fish and then are passed on to us when we eat the bigger fish. So you see, in a way, we are eating our own garbage. There is only 2 ways to put a stop to this. 1, clean up all the ocean gyres, and 2, work to keep trash from entering our waterways in the future. This brings me to my dream. I have a dream that one day all the trash in the ocean gyres will be cleaned up. What is a gyre? A gyre is a spiral or calm whirlpool. An ocean gyre is a large system of circular ocean currents formed by the Earth's wind patterns and the forces of the Earth's rotation. What do the gyres have to do with the trash in the ocean? When garbage is thrown off of ships into the sea, or litter from the land enters our waterways and travels through the ocean, the gyres work to draw in and suspend the trash into a type of floating dome. You know when you're at your friend's house swimming and you start a whirlpool? If you hop in after the whirlpool is made, it quickly sucks you in and you can't get out. It's the same idea with the trash in the gyres. There are 5 ocean gyres: the North Pacific Gyre, the South Pacific Gyre, the North Atlantic Gyre, the South Atlantic Gyre, and the Indian Ocean Gyre. All 5 of these gyres are polluted, but I am going to focus my talk on the Great Pacific Garbage Patch located in the North Pacific Gyre off the coast of California. Some facts about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch are: it weighs 7 billion tons, it's twice the size of the state of Texas, it's 9 feet deep in some parts of the patch, there's 6 times more plastic floating in the water than plankton, which is the main food source for much marine life. 80% of the plastic comes from the land, and the other 20% comes from ships and oil platforms out at sea. The most common items found are straws, beverage cans, paper bags, styrofoam cups, plastic bags, cigarettes, food wrappers, and plastic utensils. The plastic is the most dangerous part of the gyres. Why? Because plastic is non-biodegradable. This means plastic does not decompose all the way down. The sun's UV rays and the impact of the ocean waves does break the plastic down into smaller and smaller pieces, but the bacteria can't break it down into harmless components the way it does paper and wood. These tiny fragments of plastic are called microplastic. Microplastic remain in our oceans forever to be mistakenly eaten by marine life. Microplastics are still plastic, just smaller, so they still contain the same toxic chemicals and are not meant to be ingested. When a fish eats the microplastic, tiny bits of the chemicals stay in its system and they are passed on to us when we eat the fish. I told you earlier, 80% of the garbage from told you earlier, 80% of the trash in the gyres comes from the land. It might seem unimaginable that a piece of litter from Sacramento can make its way to the ocean gyres and into the food chain, but it happens more easily than you think. In 10 simple steps, I'm going to show you how a plastic water bottle travels from Sacramento to the ocean gyres and eventually your dinner plate. Step 1, a person throws a water bottle out of their car. Step 2, the water bottle blows into a storm drain. Step 3, the water bottle travels through the sewer pipes. Step 4, and into the waterways. Step 5, the water bottle reaches the ocean. Step 6, the sun's UV rays and the ocean waves break down the larger pieces of plastic into tiny pieces referred as microplastics. Step 7, it takes about 5 years for the trash, including the tiny plastic pieces, to travel from the west coast of the United States to the Great Pacific Garbage Patch in the North Pacific Gyre. Step 8, the small fish mistakenly consume the plastic pieces, thinking they are plankton, their main food source. Step 9, larger fish such as tuna and salmon consume the smaller fish and then are caught by commercial fishermen. Step 10, the larger fish is sold to the grocery stores where your mom or dad buys it and cooks it and serves it to you for dinner. The first gyre was discovered 20 years ago, so it's safe to say that we have been eating fish affected by this problem for years now. We cannot wait another 20 years or else our oceans could be beyond repair. Until recently, the only method talked about for cleaning all 5 of the gyres is one in which taking large ships and dragging big nets behind them and collecting trash as they went. This was not only time-consuming, but very costly. It was estimated to clean up all 5 gyres, it would take about 70,000 years and cost billions of dollars. No country wanted to claim responsibility or pay to clean up the mess. Then in 2012, a young man named Boyan Slat started the Ocean Cleanup Project. While other people saw the ocean as the biggest obstacle in the cleanup project, he saw it as the key to his success. Instead of fighting the ocean, he used the ocean to clean itself. He developed a large system of long floating barriers attached to a main platform that was then anchored to the ocean floor.
Hey Jack, I was gonna turn on this so they can see it a little better. Okay, hang on a sec, I got it. Okay, and you can still explain it from your picture, but this way they can see it. Hang on one sec, dude. Okay, go ahead.
That was then anchored to the ocean floor. The circular currents of the gyre would bring the trash around and get sucked in and spat out in a holding tank.
Comes around this way, and then this is the holding tank for all the plastic.
The trash would sit in the holding tank until it was taken to be recycled. It was 100% powered by ocean currents. Once it is set up, nobody needs to be there to operate it. One system could clean up half the Great Pacific Garbage Patch in only 10 years. When the plastic is recycled, the money will not only pay for the project, but they will also have money left over. The first system is launching later this year. Follow this journey on YouTube under the Ocean Cleanup Project. Now, how can we be a part of the solution? Reduce, reuse, refuse, recycle. Reduce it to use less. Go paperless with as much meal as possible. Also, stop buying bottled water and use a stainless steel furnace instead. Reuse means to use something you already have instead of buying something new. Try to buy items you can use again and again. Some examples are, use both sides of your writing paper. Also, pack your kids' reusable lunch containers instead of plastic bags. Refuse is to say no to things people offer you that you don't need or never ask for. If your McDonald's meal has a toy and you'll use it, take it. But if you won't and it will just end up in the garbage, then say no thank you. Recycle means to break an item down into raw material so they can be used again and again to make a completely new product. Newspapers can become cat litter and insulation. Aluminum cans can become appliances and steel beams. Plastic water bottles can become backpacks and sleeping bags. Participate in river, ocean, creek, river, and ocean cleanup days. This keeps trash from ever entering the gyres in the first place. Finally, pick up litter whenever and wherever you see it. That plastic bag you see in the park could easily make its way to our oceans and eventually your dinner plate. Cleaning up our oceans is not a job for scientists alone. We all can and must work together in making this dream a reality. Thank you. Any questions?